to the two-state solution, not further away from it. We need initiatives aimed at lasting peace and security for both Israelis and Palestinians. Denmark stands ready to support such initiatives and reiterates our steadfast commitment to the two-state solution as the only viable solution for peace in the Middle East. And I thank you.
Agradezco a la delegación de Dinamarca.
I thank the representative of Denmark for the statement. I now give the floor to the representative of Somalia.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also want to thank Deputy Special Coordinator, Mr. Alakbarov, and the ASG, Ms. Mirsuya, and Ms. Ashen of the Save the Children for their sobering briefings today. I have also listened carefully to the testimony of Mr. Ilana Gursky and sympathize with the suffering endured by her and by all the families in this conflict. Mr. President, we are gravely concerned by Israel's recent announcement to impose total military control over the entire Gaza Strip, as well as the expansion of the new settlement in East Jerusalem. We also condemn Israel's bombing of Nasser Medical Complex in Khan Yunis, which resulted in the death of innocent unarmed civilians, including doctors, journalists, and patients. These actions risk the prospect of achieving lasting peace and further compound an already dire situation in Gaza and the West Bank. The latest IBC report has removed any doubt about what's happening in Gaza. Famine is no longer looming. It's a man-made famine, and it's happening in Gaza. The death of children from hunger and disease is not a forecast, it's a fact. Entire families are starving in full view of this council, despite the presence of international humanitarian system that could save them if only they were allowed to act. Let us be absolutely clear. Famine in Gaza is not an natural occurrence caused by drought, failed harvest, or sudden catastrophic beyond human control. It's a man-made, deliberately created through a siege, blockade, and systematic obstruction by Israelis. The international humanitarian law is explicit. The starvation of civilians as a method of warfare is a genocide and is prohibited. Attacks on objects indispensable to survival, food stocks, water systems, agriculture, medical facilities are prohibited under international humanitarian law. The Fourth Geneva Convention requires the occupying power to ensure the welfare of the civilian population under its control. Mr. President, Somalia stresses the following points. First, a blockade must be lifted not partially, not temporarily, not heroically, but fully and immediately. Every day of a delay means more children are buried, more families are lost. Crossings must be opened and kept open. Second, humanitarian access must be sustained, predictable at scale. 8 convoys carrying fuel, medicine, and essential goods must be allowed to flow without arbitrary inspections, delays, or denials. Third, civilian infrastructures must be protected. Hospitals, bakeries, water networks, schools are not legitimate targets. Fourth, we call for an immediate and unconditional ceasefire and reiterate our call for an immediate release of civilian hostages and detainees. Mr. President, the images and reports coming from Gaza are not abstract. They are skeletal children without access to therapeutic food. They are mothers unable to produce milk for their newborn because they themselves are starving. They are hospitals turned into morgues because generators have run dry. This is the daily reality of the people deliberately held hostage to hunger as a collective punishment, which is a clear violation of international humanitarian law. What we are witnessing is not security, it's a collective punishment, and it's a genocide. Mr. President, we call on this Council to act with urgency and clarity, demand the immediate lifting of the blockade, ensure full, safe, unhindered humanitarian access by all routes and means, protect civilians and humanitarian workers without exception, call for an immediate and permanent ceasefire, and recommit to a political process that ends the occupation and delivers a just and lasting peace in the Middle East. Somalia reaffirms its unwavering support for the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people, including the right of self-determination to establish an independent, sovereign state of Palestine on the borders of 1967 with Al-Quds al-Sharif as its capital, in accordance with the relevant UN resolutions and the Arab Peace Initiative. Somalia will continue to stand firmly with the people of Palestine in their legitimate struggle for the freedom, dignity, and self-determination. I thank you.
Agradezco a la...
I thank the representative of Somalia for the statement.